I had to start a rent-to-rent business in 2026, knowing what I know now, I would not do what most beginners do. Most people spend months researching. I wouldn't try to design, I wouldn't get all of my ducks in a row. I wouldn't try and design the perfect business before even start implementing it. I also wouldn't wait until I feel ready, because that moment never comes. I'd focus on one thing, getting into motion fast. I'm the type of guy that wants to see results very fast. Otherwise, I start to think that I'm doing the wrong thing. That goes hand in hand with diets, exercising, anything, trying anything. Right? I want to see results, so I go all in very quickly because I don't want to start to feel demotivated before I see results. I need to see results to keep me motivated. So the very first thing is what I would do, and this is what I did do, is work on my mindset. And don't get this confused with motivating your mindset or creating motivation. This is conditioning. And what I mean by that is you need to learn habits on how to operate you. So the very first book is called Go for No. This book is epic. It will really change your outlook on life. And the reason why this book is so good is because this is exactly what it's like for rent to rent. It is a numbers game. The start of a rent to rent business is literally the hardest phase because you may have zero experience in this. You have no track record. You have barely any money maybe. Why would landlords want to work with you? Why would landlords even want to rent their property to you if it's worth 5, 6, 7, 800,000 pounds? Why would an estate agent work with you when they've got dozens of experienced rent to rent companies possibly reaching out to them? All of these will be going through your mind, so you have to condition it because you're going to hear no. Estate agents will hang up on you. That's if they don't say no. Landlords will say no, and people will ignore you. So if rejection affects your mood, you won't last long until you're thrown off your game. So this is what I mean by conditioning. You need to train your mind to seek no, because then you get one step closer to a yes. So again, I did this at the very start. Get everything up. Get it up. 2 days. Don't overthink it. Business live, all the compliance, website, email, all interlinked, done. 2 days max. Don't go for perfection. Just get it functional. I'd also use ChatGPT. It'd be like, okay, my name's Kenny. This is what I'm doing. Give me loads of variations. Make it unique. Actually, I don't like that. Tweak this, tweak that, tweak that. I don't want the agents to ask me, how do you spell that on every single phone call? Tell ChatGPT that. So the goal from doing that is creating credibility, not brand awards, not the Grammys, right? You're a rent-to-rent company. Don't overthink it. So every single day, I'd block out a window in my day. Like, this is non-negotiable. Phone on airplane mode except for calls. So no WhatsApp, no scrolling, no Facebook, no Amazon, nothing. This is purely outreach. And don't overthink areas. Just go on Rightmove, put in 40-mile radius, put in 2 keywords, company let and available now, and then just make your way down, look at the properties. I've done another YouTube video on this, so it might be worth knowing exactly how to follow this phase. You just phone the agent, find out about the property. Don't overthink it. Don't overanalyze the property. Don't do any due diligence on that property whatsoever before phoning the agent. And then I just would not stop until I had my very first viewing booked in. As in, not after 10 calls, not after 20, and until my window is gone and something's in the pipeline or not. But the goal is to not stop until something is in that pipeline. It should take less than 20 minutes to get your first viewing booked in. It's as little as that. When you're on form, you're on script. You do not waffle. You get straight to the point. Less than 20 minutes to have something in your pipeline. So once I've got my first viewing locked in, then I'm going to look at the rest of my week, my diary, and think, okay, I'm doing that on that day, that on that day. Can I view another property on that day? Can I view another, and see how many more viewings can I actually fit in? And then back on the phones, back to emailing landlords. Get those extra viewings locked in. Only after getting viewings booked, then I would go ahead and do detailed due diligence. This is where a lot of people go wrong. Even my students get this wrong, and I make it evidently clear in the training. Don't do area due diligence before targeting properties. Target properties, get viewings, then do detailed due diligence. Let me explain why. Number one is a lot of people are analyzing properties before the viewing is even locked in. So they'll spend half an hour doing the due diligence, stacking this deal, and then make the phone call, and it's not even suitable for company let. Time wasted. Once the viewings are locked in, I would know my numbers before going to the viewings. I would know what my absolute max offer would be. And importantly, even if the deal did not stack, I would still go for the viewing to build the relationship with the landlord and build the relationship with the estate agent. And it works on your mindset. You're going on a viewing, you're gaining experience. There's no such thing as a bad viewing, even if the property does not stack. If the numbers are wrong, is way off, still go. Build your mindset. Start speaking speaking to the estate agents. Find out what questions they're going to ask you. There's so much to be done. And that's what beginners get wrong. They think viewing the properties is just viewing the property. It's not. It's building relationships with people in property. So here's an interesting story. My very first serviced accommodation story, okay? If I was to do what most beginners do, is do area research, then I would have never come across what I've got now. Never. So my first deal, I found this property on Gumtree. It didn't have any pictures. It said 2-bed apartment with sea views. So I messaged the landlord. This was on Gumtree. No response. I had a system in place. I added that response to my tracker. So 3 days later, I opened my tracker. Yep, no response yet. Okay, let's give the landlord a call. 3 days later, he answered. We had an amazing conversation for 20 minutes. I met him the next day and I went to view this property that was advertised. It was terrible. Did not tick any of my boxes. Yeah, it just bad state, needed a lot of money. But if I did my area due diligence first, I would have never even sent the message, added it to my tracker and followed up. And what actually came out of that day, after I went back to the landlord and said, unfortunately, this property doesn't tick my boxes. He was like, okay, no worries. I've got a few properties. I've got 2 flats around the corner, recently refurbished, ready to go. There's a block. He owned the block, showed me around, all brand new, completely high spec, and we shook hands in the apartment that day. So if I did area due diligence, I wouldn't have got those 2 deals. And I've had 6 rent-to-rent properties from this one landlord to date, just from one landlord. So don't do area due diligence. That is what beginners are doing. Don't do that. I would not do that. Crazy. Because if I did do that, that whole chain of events would never have happened. So your business has 3 phases. Phase 1, get the deal. Phase 2 is manage the deal. Phase 3 is scale the business. Everybody is trying to solve phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, or understand phase 2 and 3 in depth. So before even mastering phase 1, I would not do that either. People want the branding. They spend a lot creating spreadsheets, creating logos, rebranding their website. And they're doing all of this before they've even gone on 10 viewings, like 5 viewings. Even got 1 viewing locked in. They're rebranding. That's procrastination. That's putting off the actual work that does need doing. They feel like they're making progress. They're not. So I would get 1 deal first. Then everything becomes clearer after that. My first website, I chucked it together in 1 evening. I did not ever tweak that website until I had 5 rent-to-rent properties. And then I actually thought I should probably, just for a bit of fun and maybe looking back for my benefit, it's not even my benefit, but I tweaked the website. I didn't need an all singing, all dancing website to convince landlords. They needed me to talk to them, to show them what I have to offer. This is a people business, not does your website look fancy business. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with having a nice website, but my point is, don't spend evenings and evenings and evenings tweaking it or getting it perfect. Just chuck it together, get the main details on, and then forget it. So rent-to-rent success does not look like a straight line. I don't even think any business would look like a beginner. I've won, my business is killing it, and there's a straight line in between. It's an absolute heartbeat monitor in between. But if you look at it like this, and then you look at it like that, across that, it can be a linear business. But it is very much up, downs, plateaus, small wins, big wins. So a lot of people come in thinking it's linear success, linear progress, and then you'll quit during the flat parts. So it's the consistency over time which creates that illusion of linear growth. So look at it like this. If Elon Musk's mind, his actual mind, was plonked into my body, my brain, I would probably be a multi-millionaire by the end of the month. And at the time of filming, we have 2 weeks left of the month. And it's not because he knows more about tactics. It's because he has so much more experience and his outlook on momentum, failure, movement, taking action, getting momentum. So that's why I'd start with mindset, the conditioning of your mindset. Read the book, Go for No. Condition yourself to take rejection, because as children growing up into adults, you were told no, 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 no by your parents, teachers, everyone around you for doing something wrong. So when you get your first rejection or somebody says no, you feel like you're doing something wrong, but actually it's just not a win-win situation. It's not you're doing something wrong, but most people feel like it is. Look at it again like this. If you have young kids, I have a 4-year-old and nearly a 2-year-old. And if they ask me for something and I say no, do they give up? No. Again. They ask and they ask and they ask. And I recognize that. And this is one trait I do not want to hammer out of my kids, because it's an amazing skill set. They're master negotiators just by never giving up, chasing after what they want. As parents, we really do hammer that out of them. So I give in on purpose, but carefully. I'm not always just, yeah, have another donut. Yeah, that was good. Have another donut. It does also come with like limits. But the whole point of this video is you need to train yourself to act before you feel ready, because you'll never feel ready. Business does not reward people who get all of their ducks in a row and be like, okay, the timing is perfect. The stars are aligned. Everything's swimmingly in my life right now. Let's implement this and then I will win. That's not how it works. So rent to rent is simple. It is not easy. It is not easy because you're new. When you're at my level, I'm not saying I'm at the top. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm saying I've got the experience I've got, and I feel like I can make rent to rent deals happen quite easy. I do. I still actively walk the walk. I'm not just teaching. The basics, once you understand everything, the basics are boring. You talk to people, you book a viewing, you stack the numbers, you make an offer, and you either get the deal or you don't. Everything else that you think is surrounding that is just noise. That's the process, guys. Talk to people, book viewings, make offers, get the deal. So stop trying to perfect the business and start by building the business.